your friend you're not okay? And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay? Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
Well, we're not fading away. Good morning. It's Rouser Radio out of the White Hart Hotel in Lewes on the south coast of the UK. And it is 7:31 on the 23rd day of August 2022.
I know I'm not perfect, but some days I feel more worthless. Baby, you make me feel nervous. If I still have you, I have purpose. It's all worth it.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. I guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.
Well, that's As You Fade Away with Nefex, which we've now started each day with in the new term, as it were. Of course, we've got a week, or at least we're left with 4 more days till the end of August, and then on the very last day of August, which is next Monday, is a summer holiday. So we won't be around on that day, but then come the first Tuesday, the 1st, we come back with a bang, both in Rouser Radio and with Mirador Television, which comes on after this show at 8:30 each morning. It also is broadcast out of the White Hart Hotel, and a very good morning to a lovely lady there. Good morning. How are you this morning?
All right, thank you. Where can I leave the key?
If you just go through there, you'll see the reception. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
lovely. And there's a happy lady who's struggled out of bed here at the hotel and looking for a place to leave the key for her room. And if she sachets outside, she will find that we are going to nudge 24 again today, quite warm, and a light cloud with sunny patches and a light breeze. So another pleasant day, one way or another. Not roasting, but not cold, certainly not cold. and it was a bit humid during the night, and that means that sometimes it's hard to sleep. But that's the scene that was set, and I'm afraid that in setting that scene, I wish I could say that everything in the garden is rosy, and it's not. I'm afraid that every morning we seem to bring along, I'm afraid, lots of doom and gloom. This morning, the rant that we did yesterday about the crime level continues this morning. When in a part of I think it was part of Liverpool last night, a 9-year-old girl was shot dead, and that seems to be happening. Somebody is dying on our streets almost daily, and the police have got themselves into the situation where they can't do anything about it. Now, strangely enough, young Max almost defended them and sort of said, well, you know, they're looking after this and they're looking after that. The fact of the matter is, the police inspectorate has said that the police are failing in their duty to look after the small things, burglary and so on. And it's the small things that affect the householder that is upsetting our society, upsetting our community, and that the police should start to look after that side of things. And I have a tendency to agree. Yes, the training of mules, of youngsters across county borders with drugs is something that we have to watch for. And indeed, I understand that cybercrime, because I get attacked every day, and I'm sure that most people do now, is a big, big issue. But the fact is that burglary has not gone away, and it is a feeling of being violated, of almost being raped, if your house is broken into, and particularly some of the foul things that thieves do, their peculiar sense of humor. And those are some of the things, some of the obvious things, because we really are only getting about 5 or 6% of burglaries even looked at, let alone brought to court. That has got to change, the police inspectorate say, and I think that's right. It's a question of zero tolerance. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, dear, say the liberals, the wokes, and so on and so forth. Well, what we have to do at the moment is to do what works, and zero tolerance works. And stop and search, which we got rid of or we stopped because the wokes and all the good people said this was discriminatory. Well, I fail to see how it's discriminatory. If black people are stopped, white people are stopped. It depends where you are and who you are, and for that matter, if you're in an area that is crime ridden. Now that is some sort of standard. If it's crime ridden and it doesn't matter what you are, then no, that's not good enough for some. Is we are in the grip of absolute nonsense, and what's happening is that our world is beginning to collapse in every respect, from the economy down to safety on the streets. So please, 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 can we get back to some sort of common sense? Please get back to some sort of common sense and make our streets safe and start to get our economy back into shape and start to give us some sort of life which we enjoyed in the early part of this century, and which we are no longer enjoying anymore. Let us please get back to a decent way of life, a decent standard, where we don't wake up every morning worrying about what the day is going to bring. And I'm sorry that we're the harbingers, that we are the messengers that bring this bad news. Very sad. Nonetheless, we only bring bad news if it's bad news around. We, in the media, are not a cause and effect. We are reporters. We tell it the way that it is. And that's our job. Down with your get up. Let's play it. Down with your get up from the mini vandals. I love those mini vandals. It's just very interesting stuff, I think. And for this hour of the morning, it's absolutely just right. Now, it is not hitting the headlines of the newspapers right now because it happened too late for the presses. But mayhem in the streets again. And the streets of the northern cities, I think it's Liverpool this time, running red with blood. A young 9-year-old girl has been shot dead. The latest I saw was that the police had picked up some people and were retaining them for questioning, although one of those had been let go for whatever reason. Presumably, it just happened to be with the guys who were picked up. But it really is getting beyond the pale. Is something has got to happen with law and order. We are getting to the point where there is no rule of law, and any country that has no rule of law is an uncivilized country, is a wild country, and we are rapidly devolving into a wild country on almost every front. Yesterday it was Tyson Fury's cousin who was knifed to death. Today it's a 9-year-old girl who is shot to death. Is how much longer does this have to go on before somebody in the police department is going to wake up and say, hey, we had better start doing something about this and doing it fast? Because it seems to me that there is a bit of a lackadaisical attitude, or even an anti-attitude. Is this really won't solve anything if we actually go after these people. Well, it will. It will solve the worry that is circulating around the average person. The average person who is in a semi and has looks outside and hopes that there is not mayhem on the streets outside their house. The Financial Times this morning is UK inflation is projected to top 18% as gas prices surge. And the forecast from analysts say UK inflation could exceed 18.6% in January, which would be the highest rate among Western nations. This month, the Bank of England predicted higher gas prices would push inflation above 13%, but the sector's rapidly increasing costs has left economic projections out of date. Hey, well, we ain't got exactly the greatest man at the helm on the Bank of England. So let's hope that they, once again, a bit like the police, start to get their finger out. We've become too soft and sassy. It was all going so very well until this nasty little bug came along. COVID shut us down, and our weaknesses were exposed, and they are now coming forward at a great rate of knots. And particularly is talking to a young lady who works at Lewis Prison this morning, and she had to put in something like a 12-hour shift yesterday because they don't have enough people. They don't have enough people. People don't want to come back from work. They got so used for 2 years to being paid for doing nothing, as they liked it, and now they want to stay that way. Britain is not back to work. Oh, dear, 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 dear. You can't say that. When Liz Truss said it, ooh, the Liberal establishment were on their high horse. Well, the fact is, it is true. We don't want to work. We have become a lazy nation. And all you've got to do is to try and get hold of one of the big institutions. You send you an email, that comes fast enough. Is please contact us. We need to talk to you urgently. Beep, beep, push 1, push 2, push 3, push 3. Oh, you are in a queue. You're going to be at least 6 hours before you can talk to anybody. Please hang on. Yeah, thanks. Those people who are working from home can hang on. Those of us who have to go into an office or to some place other to work can't. It's absolute rubbish. It's nonsense. And it's got to change. The corporate body, as well as government, have got to be responsible for that change. We've got weak management. In fact, it's not management at all. It's nonsense. And they've handed over a hell of a lot of responsibility to computers. The Times. Sparring inflation is forecast to hit 18%. Same thing. Pressure on the Bank of England to increase interest rates in a bid to get the economy under control is building. The City report, which warns of inflation, was entering the stratosphere. And the Bank of England might be forced to raise interest rates from the present level of 1.75% to as high as 7%. Well, if you think your money is going to be worth anything, it's nonsense. And people are going on strike at the moment to get compensation, which, when the inflation is beaten and starts to come down, will look all right. But it's not going to help at all. And going on strike is not the answer to anything, except we've got a whole bunch of lemmings. I can't afford to. I can't afford to. God's sake, they're still in the coffee shops. They're still sitting on the sidewalks. They're still queuing up to buy trivia. Ha! Absolute rubbish. The Daily Express. Inflation to hit 18%. How will millions cope? A good question. How will millions cope, says the paper. It quotes consultancy Cornwall Insight as warning it is difficult to see how many will cope with the coming winter as energy bills rise. Well, That's the key issue, energy bills. And if the government doesn't do something about it, we're in trouble. And it does have a number of options. First of all, it could limit what they're doing with their profits. Secondly, it could introduce windfall taxes. I'm not suggesting any of these things. All I'm saying is it's got options to take a look at. And the Daily Telegraph, refugee host cash should be doubled, it says. And that is taking a different slant on the inflationary thing, because the Minister for Refugees, Lord Harrington, has called for monthly payments to families hosting Ukrainian refugees. And that is to double to about £700. And the cost of living crisis will cause thousands to drop out of the scheme. The minister tells the paper he expects about a quarter of the 25,000 households hosting refugees to pull out when the initial 6-month term comes to an end, meaning new homes will be needed. Well, great blaze of glory. We invited these people here. We got people to look after them, and now they're going to be dumped. Doesn't seem just to me. The Daily Mail, Rob, justice is being held to ransom. He's furious over the barristers' strike that will bring heartbreak, it says, to thousands of crime victims. Justice is being held to ransom, says the Justice Secretary, Dominic Raab. Lawyers voted to go on an indefinite, uninterrupted walkout from the 5th of September. But the minister says the walkout will cause untold anguish to victims of crime and will make streets less safe as offenders are allowed to roam free. Well, I have some sort of sympathy with that too. Oh, 7:51 it is, 7:51, 10 to 8, 9 to 8 in fact, on the 23rd of August, 2022. The prospect of weather is warm enough, 24, but it'll be scattered cloud. It's not going to be straight sunshine. No rain, and a gentle breeze. That gentle breeze can sometimes get gusty, and my hat, which is a trilby, often goes barreling down the hill, and I only wore it because people said the breeze was going to be gentle. Yeah, watch out for it. Hey, let's see. Let's go back to the Guardian. Trust cuts millions from services that kept sewage off the UK beaches. Right. It obviously doesn't like the idea of a right winger like Liz Truss in charge. It's okay. It's the stance that the paper said it takes. It says the Tory leadership contender Liz Truss, when she was Environment Secretary, was behind cutting millions of pounds of funding earmarked for tackling water pollution. It says Ms. Truss set out in a 2015 spending review that she would reduce funding for the environment. Here's young Max here. By £235 million, including a £24 million cut from a grant for surveillance of water companies to prevent dumping of raw sewage. And this has become a scandal, particularly along the south coast, where the water companies that are in control here are dumping stuff, raw sewage, into the sea, not even attempting to dilute it. And the beaches are becoming some of the worst in Europe. Hey, right. At least people are aware of it and the voices are being raised. But it's all very well that until somebody starts to do something, you can shout all you want. It's the same as crime. Oh, increase the number of police. Well, first of all, increasing the number of police is very difficult. Nobody wants to be a policeman anymore. It is not a favoured vocation. And when you have got the resistance to go into a job, then trying to recruit for it it doesn't matter how much money you've got, you're not going to get many more people in. So some rethinking has got to be done, and just increasing the number of policemen isn't the answer. The I, trust to risk flying blind after the budget pledge U-turn. Whoops. Liz Truss has backtracked over plans to hold an emergency budget to address the cost of living crisis. The I reports. Instead, she'll hold a watered-down fiscal event, which avoids detailed scrutiny. It adds, Ms. Truss still plans to reverse the national insurance rise, but will fly blind by not requesting official economic forecasts. Oh my God! You know, she's in the lead. She can afford to make a blunder or two. But the interesting statistic that's coming out is, and yesterday, according to some papers, is that the support for Truss added to the support for Sunak still does not match the support for Boris from the grassroots Conservatives. And now it's too late. The country is just in a mess, and it's going to get people in charge who are lightweights. The Mirror. Ronaldo doesn't feel sorry at all. He left me crying and shaking. Mum and autistic son felt intimidated after the Manchester United star's call. What did he do? Oh, gosh. A footballer's a police caution over footage appearing to show him knocking a phone out of a fan's hand. Sarah Kelly, who presumably is the fan, tells the paper she was left in tears by the incident involving her and her autistic son, and says she felt cheated of justice. Ah, goodness gracious me! I'm sorry. Can't the Mirror find something a little better? It doesn't have to follow the pack, but can't it find something a little better than a footballer and his altercation with a fan? It's beyond belief, absolutely beyond belief. The Metro, snowflakes blocking A and E. That's accident and emergency. It says snowflakes, people who are scatty, are turning up at accident and emergency. With complaining of all sorts of trivial things. And one person actually walked in and demanded help with their dandruff. Could you believe it? Last month, 2,164,000 people attended A&E, but only less than a quarter had to be admitted for further treatment, the paper says. The Daily Star. Thank goodness for the Daily Star. It brings at least a little smile to our face. It always does. It never gets involved in the heavy stuff. It always comes out with little green men watching us, or some remarkable feature of our lives is coming under its beady eye. But now it's nap to future. And it's picked up on the fact that a National University of Singapore, researchers there, have claimed that allowing staff to take naps can boost welfare and profits. Well, they're taking naps at the moment. They're just staying at home doing it so nobody can see them.
That's a terrible idea.
Absolutely.
What? I'm sorry, I missed that first part. Could you repeat that? Who was that from?
So the National University of Singapore researchers claim allowing staff to take naps can boost welfare and profits.
No.
Well, there we go. There we go. So those are the headlines this morning. Now let's go to Breeze, shall we? Yeah, let's have a little bit of Breeze from Telecast. Better put the microphone up. That was Breeze from Telecasted, and it is now 1 minute past 8 o'clock, and it is the 23rd of August in the auspicious year of 2022. I say auspicious because I think it's a year that we will remember, where more trouble cascaded in to the United Kingdom, and for that matter to many parts of the world, than in 20 or 25 years before. In fact, for the last 50 years. And we could have done something about it, or we can do something about it, but we have got such weak leadership that nothing is. They're all chasing their tails, chasing their tails. Strangely enough, it was Boris who, before the last election, made a speech and said that our present method of governance, from the very top, which by that he means the House of Lords, right down to the little ones. What do they call the?
House of Commons.
Sorry.
House of Commons.
Yeah, no, but right down to the parish councils. That's right, the parish councils need reform. They are not fit for purpose. And my God, is anything. COVID and inflation and energy prices and war are pointing out just how unfit for purpose our system is. But how do we change it? Because those people who are in it are busy pocketing left, right, and centre. A little bit of inflation. Oh, we raise our fees. Oh, we get more subsidised bars. Oh, we get more of this and more of that. Yes, thank you. That really is very helpful. Pay more to the people that bugger it up in the first place. Ha, 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 ha. At 8:03 on a Tuesday morning, I'm not sure that I'm at all sympathetic to that way of viewing things. Young Max, what's on the inside of the newspapers this morning?
Nothing I found quite particularly intriguing. This one interesting, not political, but A 6-year-old went skydiving. A 6-year-old.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do they do? Throw him out of the airplane, attached to a... Yeah, well, the funny thing is that at least with Dad or with somebody, yeah.
Yeah.
But I find it quite remarkable that some parents push their children into, they are the youngest skateboarder, they are the youngest bike rider. For that matter, you've got people, kids who are playing cricket and playing football at 3 or 4 years of age, and everybody seems to think that it's wonderful. To me, I'm damn sure that it scars the kid. It's all very well for Dad and Mom to be very proud of him and to preen, but frankly, I think that it's irresponsible.
And it seems forced a lot of the time.
And it's what?
Seems forced. As well.
Yes, it is. Well, I mean, the kid doesn't have a say. 2 or 3. What do? You look up. You look up to a dad. Do you say no, Dad? No, you don't. You do what you're told to do. So I think that it's a parent thing. It is a parent thing. Right, anything else you've got there? He's turning the pages, by the way, for those people who wonder what the little gap in sound is. He's turning the pages. Oh, hang on.
Chaos scraps 1.8 million more seats, so they're reducing flight capacities.
Ah, yes, I saw that. British Airways, I mean, it being the flagship carrier, they always use that as an example. It's cutting, what is it, 10,000 flights or 100,000 flights or whatever.
They're reducing 1.8 million people getting on the plane, so that's a lot of flights.
Oh, it's a lot of people too.
That's easily in the hundreds of
Yeah,
thousands.
soon travel by plane is going to go back to being the only the wealthy will be able to do it. The days of Freddie Laker's cheap flights are going to be a thing of the past.
But here's the reason. It's for the greater good
Ah.
because of climate change.
Oh
You-
no! Please don't hammer me with that sort
I
of
know,
thing.
it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It's making these sort of decisions is easy to hide behind climate change and environment and the rest of it. It really is. Our society is in a mess. It is in a mess.
You know what?
And the excuses that come out of both the corporate sector and Parliament are just woeful and weak. Yes, Max, you were going to say.
Something people need to look out for is people starting to talk about climate lockdowns. Have you heard about these?
Oh, no. What's the climate
So
lockdown?
you know how we had COVID lockdowns?
Yes.
So there are talks within the government about doing lockdowns for climate change because when we did the lockdowns, no one was driving, emissions were down, it was so great for the environment. So what we're going to do now is have climate lockdowns. So you're going to have to stay in your house for months on end and not go out and for the environment.
God, who's going to pay for all this? We're already billions in debt. If one of the, it doesn't matter which of the two candidates are going to become the next prime minister, is that both of them have got plenty of ideas about spending money. Is somebody somewhere has to play us an inflation going up to 18%. Oh no, please don't start giving me this nonsense. Right, we've got time to play one more little track. One more. Let's play this one. We played it yesterday for the first time in 5 straight rows. Here we go. Mini vandals getting cracking there. There's a nice bit of noise. I quite like that. Quite like the stuff the mini vandals do. Whoever they are, they're their number one fan, that's for sure. Okay, it is now 11 minutes past 8. 4 minutes before we actually say goodbye. So let's just say on the day that law and disorder came roaring onto our streets, that a 9-year-old girl was shot dead in a random shooting, it appears, and where yesterday a 31-year-old was stabbed to death in the street. And every day we find stories of death and destruction on the streets. And that has got to stop. That is the number one priority. Let's make the streets safe again. Put the coppers back on the beat. For goodness sake, we keep on hearing about how they're experimenting and so on and how it's working. Well, it's not. It is simply not. It may have all sorts of benefits for those people who think in funny terms and think into the future and so on. Well, let's consider the present. We need the level of crime to be cut back, to cut down. We need to feel safe walking the streets, and we don't right now. And so it is up to the authorities, those people who actually tell the police what to do, the police themselves, who have a great deal of autonomy, should make up their own minds and start to follow some sensible policies, rather than getting all het up about whether every policeman should get a degree. And the day that inflation is now forecast to hit 18%. Can you imagine? 18%. We will not be able to afford anything. Currency will become valueless. Ah, well, that's the day that I leave you with, I'm afraid, on the 23rd day, Tuesday the 23rd of August 2022, in Lewes, East Sussex, but I'm afraid that a lot of those conditions prevail not only throughout the rest of the United Kingdom, but around the world, and we don't have anybody to try and do something about it. To the pip, see you tomorrow, and see you later with television.
And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, I have a taste. All the highs and the lows,